Okay, good evening everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Natasha. I am the chair of Raw Camera Club, and I want to extend a warm welcome to our 2025 print battle, the rematch. It's Raw's pleasure to host Focus Camera Club this year. You're all very welcome, and I want to especially mention Matthew Canning for giving up his time tonight to judge our prints. A massive thank you, I suppose, needs to go to Colin McMullen for organising this year. Colin, the whole thing was flawlessly executed and not a pink print in sight. And well done to both you and Michael for choosing the same colour mounts this year. Seriously though, thank you. It was a fun night last year, and when we win tonight, it's going to be even better. It's a fighting talk. I want to further thank Eilish for organising our refreshments for tonight. Eilish, it all looks fantastic, and I know it's the only reason some of our club members are actually here tonight. Thanks to Paul for giving up his time to judge Raw's prints and hilariously renaming every single one. There was a huge wealth of talent to choose from this year. Thanks to all the members of Raw who entered their images. Anyway, that's enough for me. Let's get the battle started.
So a wee bit of feedback on, well, thanks very much for inviting me along, John, and through the club, through the print battle. It's always good to see clubs getting together and doing bits and pieces. So we're talking about shadows at the moment, so I'm going to pick up the print if you don't mind, but I'll not be touching on to your paper on them as well. So we're talking on the shadows. Wee black and white coming in here, like we're opposing with a colour coming through, but we're not going to worry about that as a as a problem to discriminate which one you want to choose. So yeah, shadow coming through. The shadow we're seeing here, it's more like for me a reflection than a shadow coming in here. Yes, a wee bit of a shadow just coming along the side, but for me I would be classifying this more of a reflection than a shadow, because that's what you're getting down here, because we're not seeing a shadow of this upon here, and that's really what I'm seeing, except for a wee white patch here. But for me, more of a reflection than shadow, just to meet the theme. This one, I like the way it's mounted. You've gone for the wide sort of panoramic such, rather than going tall ways with it. Sorry, blocking your light over here. Sorry, I'll stand on this side. Yeah, so I like the way that's been mounted. So you're given just elongating the model in the picture, in the frame, going from the toe to the head, a wee bit of space just always left on each side. Yeah, a lot of shadows coming in. I know in some rounds you might say, oh Jesus, those shadows are so dark, but this is the shadow theme, so you're implying it, and that's what we're looking for in the image as well. Lovely bit of shadow just coming down through the body as well, just to the reflection, so you can see it coming down of the bars, just going across her chest and down through the body, and then runs down the leg. It's down here. And yes, you might say, oh, the leg's very dark. That's okay in here. That's in shadow. You can see it, and your eye can follow that line up through it. I do love the colours just coming through there on the backdrop of the lady in the model. So, do I just set these down and choose a winner? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pick this as the winner tonight. So I'll just leave it. Animals. Right, I'll have a wee look at these first. Okay, I'll just start on the left image again. So, just it's captivating, the look, of the I think it's an orangutan, so I'm going with orangutan, but just the way it's looking up here, it's not looking at you, and it doesn't have to be always the case that it has to be staring down the barrel of the camera. I just love the way the eyes are, because it's almost like in a contemplation mode, looking away from itself, not distracted, and you can sort of see the face. Yes, it always looks like it's always going to have a little smile on them anyway, the orangutan, but I just love that look, and the way the eyes are just coming up here. That lovely wee bit of a catchlight in the eye coming through as well, and you just get that in the image. The wee hand coming across just around the chin just frames it well. All the attention and the light is coming in on the eyes. It's not darkened out, or it's not too deep that you can't really see it and make it out. It's very distinguishable. Just a little point here, maybe it's just a little bit blurred out, or maybe a wee bit of post-processing. You can sort of see a wee bit of artifact almost just around this area, because you've got your grass down here, but then this just pops into my vision when I'm looking at it, because the eyes are starting to lead you back up that way. That's why it's sort of catching your eye, because when you're following the eyes through, I just see that little spot there. On the little puffin, beautiful colours coming through on this one. all the little pinks coming through in the backdrop, so they're all nice little bokehs coming through. You've got a nice bit of blurredness on the front, and then just the wee puffin just sort of sitting up right in the middle of the frame, just where you want it, all in focus. Nice little catch, like just catching the top of the eye as it's just staring away, not looking at you or anything like that, just doing its own business, and you're just capturing it and not bothering it at all. And you're down low, down at the same elevation as the little puffin by the looks of it, unless you're shooting across from a distance. But for me, it looks like you're down low, so you're not looking down on it, you're not looking up at it, you're just looking straight over at it, and it just makes it fuller in the frame. Lovely, just captivating, just giving that nice bit of space here, a wee bit of space on the right hand side as well. So overall, I'm going to choose the puffin on this one. We'll start with the motorcyclist. So this theme, we've got movement for anyone that's not aware of it. But yes, I love the fact that the bike is sitting. You've captured it well. You know, you're panning along with a motorbike. You've got it pretty sharp here because everything just looks through. You can see the letterings, even the labels and all the stickers down the very bottom. Kawasaki, everything's pinned sharp coming through on this, and you can see the movement. You can see that the wheel is that kind of blurriness to it, that you know there's movement in there. You've got the panning shot, everything coming out of focus in the rear, capturing the bike just off the ground as well. You can see a wee bit of movement in the guy's hair. Everything screams movement in it. Yes, it's a still, but it screams the theme in this one. Love the colours coming through, the reds and the greens, all very muted down, everything in focus. And the bike is what pops out at you on this image. And you've just got the driver as well. You're captive a driver with, or a rider with the visor, the clear visor, so then you can see his face coming through in that one. Like a lot of the visors, sometimes you'll just see them dark and people go, I wish I could see his eyes. And here you can see the eyes and you see the focus on him, just looking straight ahead. You know, he's not worried about you, but you've gone and captured him and you've got him framed well. Lovely bit of space around the whole image, and you left enough in to show that there's grass, the track, then the grass coming through, so you know that the circuit, he's probably come off a bend or so somewhere. But lovely shot. On the light trails, nice wee bit of creativity to this one. You know, when you're thinking about movement, you know, the people might do a long exposure and things like that. So here, you've probably opened the lens for quite a time, you know, just to get all the reds and the white trails for the rear. I think I'm going to just take it as the road. Rear lights or waterway, whatever it might be, and the headlights coming through. A bit of a headland coming through, and you're just bringing it into the blue hour. Just there, where you can just see it starting to come down on the top of the image, and yep, you've just left it over just halfway. Some people might sort of go, oh, I'll do half and half. To me, some people find that a problem. I never ever find it a problem unless it's just something that's glaringly obvious at you, but I don't mind it just being a wee bit over the center line. But nice creativity in this one. Very minimalist colours, just the reds, the whites, and the blues coming through that one. But overall, I'm going to choose the motorbike as Am I going too fast? Are you okay? Which is this thing? Street photography. All right, we'll start on the lady enjoying her coffee and her little pastry, I think it might be. So, Yes, we're on the street photography. You might think you're always on the outside, but yeah, you can look inside windows as well. People do it, and it is well known. There is some well-known photographers that will just be photographing people inside buildings as long as you're trying to get reflection, and that's just really what they're looking for here in this image. Love the colours coming through in this. Very warm tones coming in. You've got your oranges and ambers coming up here, the blues in here, and a wee bit of light just coming down on the lady. She's not darkened out. You're not capturing a big reflection or the glare of the photographer in the image, so you've probably taken it off a bit of an angle. You see some reflections of light coming on out here, but that's not as distracting, you know, if it was up around her face area. So her hand on the wee pastry, just reaching for it. She's got her eyes set on the phone, whatever she might be looking at or watching, you know, just taking her time, enjoying herself. Well, she doesn't claim to be enjoying herself with no smile on her face, but that's okay. She's just contemplating, watching what she's doing, and we're just bystanders walking by and seeing the image and seeing her in it. All the little different items sitting around, and you can start picking things off, knowing there's a little coffee shop that she's in, and just with her little to-go cup. Little light bulb up there, you could have taken out, you might leave it in, but street photography, you tend to leave items in. You don't really start, if you want to crop it, you're sort of usually moving yourself around the image and cropping by your feet and just by the composition, rather than going in and doing a big hard chop into your image and doing a lot of post-processing on it. Very enjoyable. In the mono image, the little kids all out playing with the font here. It's almost like something you'd see in Harlem and all the guys, you know, when you see in the movies and Bad Boys and all, they just bust off a font and start messing about. I like this, the way it's going. You know, it's just going so high on the image, and it's nearly the height of the wall, that fountain just coming up. All the kids just playing around out in their t-shirts and their shorts. Little kids over here, they know that you're there, so they're getting captured. They're seeing themselves, probably getting a photograph, so they've got their hands in the air, and somebody either, probably the photographer might have just shouted to them saying, yo, come over, have a look over here, whatever it might be. A little sign saying out, so it must just be the factory in and out option. And little spots just coming around on the edge, little part of the tree just creeping in there. Little things like that, you could just crop over a little bit more, rather than having something just creeping into the edge. I know there's a wee bit of a tree here, but just when it comes into the sky area, you know, you could start thinking about cropping this down, but I think, you know, just to lose the top of the sky, I think you could have probably gone down a little bit more, because then we know it's a building, we know all the rest and the work on that, and it doesn't distract you as much by seeing this triangle up in the top right, because what you want all your focus on the little kids playing in the water, because that's where the fun is. So for this one, I'm going to choose the lady in the coffee shop. Reflections, okay. Is it going okay for you, the speed or any?
Oh yeah. Do you want to stop it halfway through?
Well, if you stop me, you'll count them,
This is the fifth now.
Right, okay. We'll start on reflections on the gentleman on his boat. Yep. On the theme, it fits the theme perfectly. You can see a lot of reflections coming through from the sky onwards into the water. I'll just move over the side. So you've got your sky coming down. You can see those clouds bursting through into the water. Lovely smooth ripples just coming through there. It's not a choppy water, whatever. Yes, he's breaking the water as he comes through, but even the ripples that he's creating on the boat here, just as this is the leading line we're getting coming from the bottom right, just coming out with the gentleman on his boat. Those lovely water ripples just coming through there. You know, they're not too sharp, anything in the image. I like that kind of feel to it, especially when you can just see the calmness in the water and just the little breaks just coming throughout the image. And of course you've got your tree line coming through, everything's reflected. I was almost thinking if you could flip it, but you can't really, because we've got the guy will be upside down on it. But I just love the wee reflections of him just standing here in the water, because you've got him in, you haven't chopped off his head or lopped him off, or you haven't gone too tight to the end of the frame with him. You've kept him in it because he is a major part of that image, and having his reflection in it as well. Yes, some little trees and branches coming through, but if you want to go in and crop them out and content aware, that's fine, but they're not doing no harm sitting in here. You know, they're not part of the reflection, but they almost frame him if you just look up through that. Very well done. I like wildlife, but I won't know all the animals and birds in the world, so I'm going to say this little yellow bird. Okay, I hope that satisfies 50% of the people around. So the little bird, yep, sitting peeping into the water, you know, you can just then catch him, the reflection again coming down here, so it's always fitting into the theme. It might just be part of processing or not, just checking, so you can almost see a wee bit of a halo coming around the reflection. Wee things like that. I don't know if that's an anomaly off the reflection or not, but you can sort of see it just coming around the top of the head and around the beak. So little things like that, if you are working on it, just maybe to try and remove those, because they can be removed in post-processing. Because we're not seeing the halo around the real bird. I don't know if it's just because of the water, you know, but it does catch your eye when you see it. It's almost like a little outline drew around the bird itself. I would like to see the little bird just within the frame a wee bit more, because we have a nice wee bit of space up here. It's very tight to the mount. Maybe there is more space there and you're just restricted by the size of the mount, but it is a print and we have to judge it by that it's either there and it's cut off, but it's what we're seeing is what we're judging. I would like to see maybe just bring up the brightness on that little reflection as well, because you've got a beautiful bright bird here, but I'd love to see just a wee bit more exposure on it there. Yes, it's in a dark area, but that doesn't mean you can't bring it up, just to get a wee bit more life to it. So on this occasion, I'm going to choose the man on the boat. We can take a break for a minute.
We'll stop for 5 or 10 minutes, get a comfort break, let Matthew get a drink of water.
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
Five done, 5 to go, and our next category
It's shallow depth.
shallow depth.
Okay. So it'll give me a bit of time to look at these while during the break, and I'm sure some other members have the option as well. So on the shallow depth of field, on this one, the focus, we can see it's really around this area. On the second, I don't know if it's a seat there along the wee bridge, but I'm going to go here. This area is really the center of focus for me, because that's what's focused in here, because you'll see this is out of focus coming up close, and as we fall off out into the distance, we're all out of focus as well, you know, meeting the theme, shallow depth of field. The item that's in focus, for me, probably I would like to see something maybe more interesting, because yes, there is little raindrops and all coming on here, but we're not seeing any reflections or anything on that, just a few wee catch lights of the lights coming through and just catching on it. But I'd love to see maybe something else, because there's a lot of detail coming around here, like of attention of the big building coming along, the bridge coming through. Partially a little bit for me, almost blown out to this point over here on the right hand side. So this, yes, the leading line is dragging you across to that, so it really is the brightest part of the image, just with all those lights coming through. So maybe I don't know if the lens was open for quite some time, or it's just the little starburst coming off those lights coming in there. But I would like to see the center of interest, the part that's in focus, maybe just a wee bit more interesting for me as a subject matter, you know, because you have all this interest of the buildings and you can start seeing and tell the story where it is, but just leaves it a wee bit wanting in that area for me there. In the colour image, we've got the flags coming in through, so the Ireland flag, the tricolour coming through, and then you've got it then just represented with the almost like the infinity or trinity coming over here to the right hand side, so you can make out what it is. It's out of focus, yeah, but you can still make out, because of the colours and the resemblance and the comparison, you can see here that it all matches through. So it's either maybe a parade or whatever it might be, or whatever the scenario is, I don't know, that you have that. One little area, I know it's in the shot, you can't really do much about it unless you go start cloning, but I just find, I think it's this collar up here on the jacket, because of the dark brown, it just creeps up to that edge. So if I'm closing that off, I like to see the picture just sort of makes it a wee bit stronger for me. When you take it away, it starts to become noticeable. But at the same time, if you start saying, oh, I'll just crop down here, then you're almost taking the top off of the Trinity thing over here on the right hand side. So you have to sort of just go with that and keep it in. Yes, you could have went in and post-processing and removed it, but it's yay or nay, but it does catch you up there, because yes, there all is brown around the area, but just that little piece that just catches up in the top right-hand side. But I do like the reflection here and the resemblance coming through of the flags coming through and showing the other colours. And it really is the brightest parts of the image coming through with that colour, just with the khaki gear on the left-hand side. So overall, I'm going to choose this as my winning shot.
Architecture next.
All right. So when they just first popped up, there's a lovely impact of those images, just the colours that come through when we're looking at them both side by side. But firstly, on this one of the spiral, I'm not sure what kind of spiral it is or what the object is, but I love the colours coming through on it, just that dark black and the bronzy brass gold type look to it. Yep, and you can just see the twirls just as it comes through, so your eye can almost follow it through and just whiz around the picture. So it brings you from the bottom of the frame up to the top of the frame. Some little areas here, probably just a wee bit darker in here, that you can't see the distinction. You know, if there's other movement of this steel, I think it looks like steel here or whatever it might be, but I'd like to probably see a wee bit more detail in around the dark areas in the back. I don't know if it's there or if it's just not there because this is coming around here, but it just almost just blends in and bleeds in just on that area. Yes, you can see it faintly when you look up close, but your eye can carry it around. But I think it's just a wee bit dark in that area for me, because I love to see the bronzes and the colours coming through here on the backdrop. Maybe that's just the way the light is catching on it, but a little bit more brighter just in that little spot, just to keep it from being too dark in there for me. But I do love the way it's twirling around and just brings you up through the frame on this one. In the Titanic building, we've got the blue hour just coming in. Either could be the evening or the morning time. Not too sure. I don't see many stars coming in, so. But pardon me. I love the colours just coming through on it. You've got those light blues, the dark coming down, feeding down into the lighter blues just here in the bottom of the picture. The little statue give that nice wee bit of separation from the tree. A wee bit of a starburst coming out on the lights there. You can see just that the buildings, probably where the lens is taken, probably at a wide angle, you start seeing the verticals all sort of falling off here. They're not straight up. That can be corrected in post-processing, so it almost looked like it's falling in itself, because the Titanic building is kind of distorted by the looks of it when it's got those things. So you don't think, oh, that's off. You don't have to straighten those up. But with this little building here in the hut, it just looks like it's falling in on itself. So just be things like that you can sort of look at and try and repair in post-processing, usually in Lightroom or so, that you can just straighten up your verticals. And just especially when it's coming into the edge of the frame, when something is falling off in the edge of the frame and the frame is straight, that's the big giveaway. That sort of catches your eye a wee bit more. If it was mid-picture, you might go, it's okay, it might be all right, you might get away with it, but just when you're sort of looking at it at the very edge of the frame, you do get caught up with it, I think. So it's just little things just to think about whenever you're doing architecture, because there was an architecture round we had at a time, and you would see it mentioned a lot in those ones. But I do love the space and the vibrance of the image and all those colours coming through. But saying that, I'm going to choose this as my top image.
Frames next.
Cool. Just take a wee minute to look at them, okay? So on the lady going through, looked like the doorways in the gallery. Just a little comment that I just previously made, just be careful of your uprights, you know, because we can see this leading off. I'll just bring it over here. So just leading off, you've got wider areas down here, it's getting thinner up the top. You know, if you're trying to get that nice straight image, it's lovely to have them in line with your mounts. I think it just really makes it stand out that wee bit different. So it would just, if that was just squared up, that really improves the image for me. you've got a nice comparison, lovely detail going around the doorways, just as you're going through with the lady. Just you can see her foot, 1 foot off, just a bit of movement walking through. She's got a little mask on her there, so it's either just after COVID or so when people are allowed to mill around or go out and start looking about. But a lot of separation by the looks of it as well, because she's by herself, she's not with someone else. You don't see a crowded room, so maybe that's just the area at the time, or maybe that's what you're waiting for to capture. Nice little bit of separation, so her arm isn't catching in on the frame here, so you've got that little bit of separation just around the last doorway, just as you've got the big image framed, the big picture framed down at the very bottom. But overall, nice image just coming through. A lot of detail coming out on the red jacket, and as we know, you've got the red bus, the red telephone box, you've got everything red, so it really stands out. But for me, I would like to see just those uprights just a wee bit corrected, because after that, the image is working well, that you've got all that nice bit of separation coming through, because it's just giving that triangular feel and allows you to walk into the image along with the lady. On what may be a little derelict house or a building or a farm, whatever, but for anyone down the back, if they're not seeing it properly, there's a little owl up here in the top right. The brightest part of the image is the eyes, and they really do capture you. I think, even from here looking at it, that's what I can see, those two little eyes just peeping out at you. And it's a lovely, lovely story coming out of this one. This really does tell a nice story, just the way it's been placed. You've got all the weeds coming around, the old derelict, bit of grass coming through. It's all very dark looking, and this little owl and the eyes are almost just like two little torches just peeping out, just having a look out through it. I like the composition. You've got the grasses and the broken window up in the top right, so you're using your top right hand third of the image as well, just going for that rule of thirds, coming in and placing it up there, so it does catch your eye and brings you all up to it. There's nothing down here to distract you from it. Everything sort of focuses out from the little picture of the owl and the eyes coming through on that one. So overall, I'm going to choose this as the
aging old.
Aged and old.
Aged and old, yeah.
Okay. The old gentleman, elderly gentleman, the age theme, it all comes through in this. This is cracker. I like this. I like this composition. The feel that he's giving you, you almost think that he's looking at you, but he's not looking at you. His eyes are just looking up. But I think whatever way you look at that image, you can catch his eyes. Just the light that's just caught on his face and the bags under his eyes, it just all comes through. His hand position here, sometimes hands are very difficult to place in models, and everyone will find that difficult at times, but here for me, it just comes to the end of his beard, so he doesn't have a lot of distance between his face and his hands, so there's no big gap or emptiness that you're looking into going, oh, his hands are down here, his face is up there. You're traveling through empty space. It all just runs down, and it really just creates that little C curve just from the top of the forehead down to the hands. Beautiful light on the figure itself. Lovely bit of shadow coming in here around in the back, and it's just been cropped off here intentionally, I would believe, because it's not like, oh, it's just a little nip. You've got that curve, but you can see it all coming through. Lovely bit of light just coming down through there, because if it's coming down too quick, then he'll be completely out of focus. Nice, lovely little in darkness. Lovely little catch lights just catching into his eyes. But I think the detail coming out on the skin, it's not overdone, it's not over-processed, it looks well, it looks timely with the age theme, and the sackcloth, everything got that little detail on it for the oldness and the ruggedness. You can almost, if it does smell, you can almost smell that sackcloth, I know the man probably has it nice and clean or whatever it is, but maybe it's just been touched up, but the darkness comes in, it's almost like you can see, oh, that guy, it just fits the theme and the story that the photographer was going for. I think you've captured it well in this one. Well done. On the old castle tower, we've got a bit of a long exposure going. You can start seeing there's a shooting star or an airplane trail or whatever coming through on the sky. Possibly a bit of a galaxy coming in there on the galaxy core. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I just see it's the clouds coming through. lovely bit of stars in the back just coming through on it. Yep, you're looking up at it again. Just be mindful, those uprights, you don't want to feel like it's falling back on yourself. That's just something always just to keep checking, especially as again we mentioned architecture and other buildings. Just be mindful on that one, because once you have it corrected, it does really make the image stand out that wee bit more, rather than feeling of like this, rather you have it up straight. But lovely little composition, nice and dark around the wooded area, and you've got a lovely bit of detail coming out on the rocks and stone faces on the castle itself, and just a nice bit of theme of the dark or the blue hour as such coming through. But overall, I'm going to choose the elderly gentleman.
The last round is
Ooh, contentious.
the devils in the detail.
Ah, very good.
Probably heard that 50% of the audience already.
First up, Man United, yep. Thinking outside the box. This one, I think it's cracked that as a spot on, you know, like something, yep, the devil's in the detail. You've got your devil in here, the Red Devils, for non-Man United fans or other people that don't know football. I don't do much football, but I know the devil in the detail. I love the idea and the thought behind it. Yes, some little areas in the composition. You know, we've got a nice wee bit of space here. We're just catching it and cutting it off here with the mount down below, just those little areas of the emblem. But I just, thinking about the idea, I like how you've done it, how you've gone about it and thought about it and said, yes, the devil's in the detail. Let's get the Red Devil in this one. I like that composition. Just a wee bit of darkness coming through here because of the way the light or whatever it might be shining through. You can see it, but I think it's just the sticker coming through the transfer. So that's probably just making it a wee bit darker. I think a wee bit more exposure just on that, just to bring it up and bring a wee bit more life into it, just to make it pop for me. But yeah, just be mindful of your mount going through the little areas, but that's possibly just maybe the mount was either not cut for it or not, or maybe it's just cut off in the print. But I like the idea. Little B, I'm going for B. The detail, yes, the devil's in the detail again. The detail that we're talking about the little raindrops coming through, the eyes coming through here with a little catchlight just catching up on them. Yep, this could almost be one of your images you could have in your shallow depth of field, almost, because you can see it. All the plane of axis and the focus point is really here, because you can start seeing it falling off as it just comes down to the tip of the wings and down to the back end of the wee insect itself, and then just out here on the left hand side you start seeing little bits of area of white just being a wee bit maybe almost too bright, so when you start looking around the image, it starts catching your eyes because it's almost framing the little insect, the areas of white coming around and just bouncing around. So just be mindful of that whenever you are shooting. Yes, you might be trying to open your lens a lot, but that will get a lot more light coming in as well and capturing these brighter spots. But they could be always toned down, or else a little vignette around that just to darken it down and falsify the information and the idea, just to bring up the insect itself. But I do love that detail just coming through. You can just see it all coming through on that area of the wee wasp itself. So for me, this will be my top image. Who's the Man United one?
Right, so yes, that was very, very close. I'll go through the images here and I'll just put them down for raw and focus just so you see how close it was. It wasn't very close in the first half, but the tension did build up. So
But just to let Matthew know, the first half was 4-1 to who?
that's like a Man United score, isn't it? The other way around. So in the first round, the animals, that was a raw photograph. Second, movement, another raw photograph. There's pattern here. Third, reflections. Have a guess? Raw photograph. I was told off. I had this the wrong way around. Apparently, it should have been the model was lying down, not like that. So this was shadows, and this was focus. Doesn't matter. You won your round. The next was street, and this was a raw photograph. So that was the first round, and it was first half 4-1. And then I think I'll start with the shallow depth one. That was focus. Architecture. Again, focus. Second half, yeah. This was frames. Another one for focus. So we're getting close, 4-all. Aging old. That went to raw. So 5-4. And then devils in the detail. Went to raw. So 6-4. I think that was Matthew. That was a flip. We lost 6-4 last year. So thank you very much, Matthew. That was brilliant. Thank you. Do you want to do a wee bit of a final speech, just a thank you or anything?
Yeah, that was really close again. Like Colin said, it was just like a flip of last year, because in the first round we were 4-1 down. So yeah, it was amazing. So well done to everyone, and well done to Raw, and well done to Focus as well. It was really, really close. And Matthew, thank you so much again for coming and judging. It was definitely eye-opening and a little bit of a lesson in photography as well. So thank you again, everyone. I hope you've all had a good night, and stick around and have a chat if you want, but safe home. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Canning. I'm from BPIC Camera Club. We're based in Belfast, so sort of my photography is coming through from my camera clubs for quite some time. So I'm interested in more of the awards and the certifications that you can get through it. So that's what I look at myself, and my thoughts and more the themes that I like to work on are old abandoned houses or old homes, portraiture, and also just a wee bit. I do enjoy street photography as well, but I'm not that brave at sometimes to get out there and do that without thinking I got my camera robbed at on a stage, So that's really me in a shoebox.